Hello from FreeAdvice.com. We are the best place to start your insurance comparison journey. Go to our website and use our free comparison tool. Super easy to use. Just go down to click, compare rates, and start your process. Today, we're answering the question, is it best to drive at 55 miles per hour? You may have heard just through urban legend that cars are designed for 55 miles per hour, or the best fuel efficiency is 55 miles per hour. But you've got to wonder, with today's technologies, is it really still the best to go at 55 miles per hour? My first stop that I want to take us to on this journey of figuring out how fast should we be driving is actually the alternative fuel data center. So the Department of Energy provides this website that answers all kinds of questions on car technology and what the cars are running on and what the statistics are. And they have tons of interactive maps that you can use. We are going to use the graph that shows driving speed, different fuels, and efficiency. So if you'll notice, this yellow line is mid-size conventional diesel cars. This green line is mid-size hybrid electric cars. And this blue line is your mid-size conventional gasoline car. Now over here we have fuel economy in miles per gallon, and here we have our speed, okay? As you will notice, mid-size conventional gasoline cars achieve their best fuel economy at 55 miles per hour. The fuel economy of a mid-size conventional diesel car declines from 45. So actually that diesel car, optimal speed for miles per gallon efficiency, 45 miles per hour, and then declines. And then mid-size hybrid electric vehicle loses efficiency more evenly between 45 and 75. So as far as fuel economy, guess what? The proof is still here that 55 miles per hour is the optimal driving speed to save the most on gas, which savings is a huge motivating factor these days, not to be taken lightly. But that brings me to the question personally of thinking, well, driving at 55 miles per hour, can that make my car last longer? So not only am I thinking in my mind, I could save money by driving 55 miles per hour, but that there's that urban legend, this understanding that cars were designed to go 55 miles per hour. Is that the case still? The Motorist Assurance Program highlights different aspects of driving habits, and they say that driving at high speeds increases engine strain, amplifies brake wear, and elevates fuel costs, impacting overall vehicle longevity. They also point out rapid acceleration puts unnecessary stress on the engine and drivetrain, shortening the vehicle's lifespan and increasing fuel consumption. So both of their main points, two of their main points, point out that 55 miles per hour seems to be able to prolong the life of your car. Well, regardless of if your goal is fuel efficiency, if your goal is safety, whatever your goal in getting on the road and getting your car to last as long as possible is, do you have insurance to back up all the information that you have? Free Advice is here to not only give some good, useful advice, but also to help you compare your rates to make sure you are getting the coverage that you need at the price point that you need. So if you're concerned about driving safely and fuel efficiency, we're the place to go, because you also are going to be concerned about your vehicle's insurance coverage. So if you use our tool, if you click to compare rates, and let's find out what drivers around Austin, Texas might be facing in their insurance rates. So if you go to our website, use our comparison tool. If you've used it before, it will hold a little bookmarker of what progress you had made it through before. Otherwise, you can start a new search. And our first step is to ask what year your vehicle is, because from that information, we can narrow down our search to what cars were made in that year. And then you can, if you don't see your type of vehicle in here, you can go down to our drop down menu and you will be able to find every vehicle that was built in 2017. So if we go for a Toyota and we're going for an Avalon, you just keep answering these questions, and as the process goes along, it can fine tune the quotes to fit you personally and get you the best savings. It'll factor in all those little caveats that could really bring down your monthly premiums. So, speaking of auto insurance, did you know that auto insurance companies use telematics programs to incentivize good driving habits? So, if you drive at good speeds, if you drive under the speed limit, if you reduce hard braking, if you drive at better times of day, you could save money on your car insurance premium. They incentivize it by lowering your monthly cost. But in turn, telematics has increased safe driving on the roads. Okay? So while the incentive is to lower money and at lower costs and save money, the result is that, according to Car and Driver, the roads are safer by people getting into better and safer driving habits, and one of them would be driving the speed limit. And typically 55 is standard for state highways. I know some states have increased that limit to 60 miles per hour. But you might still find yourself wanting to drive that 55 miles per hour after you find out how much you can be saving, how much longer your car can last. And know that your insurance company can track that safe driving habit and incentivize it by lowering your monthly costs. Now, where did we get this whole driving 55 miles per hour? Like I mentioned, a lot of state highways, the speed limit is 55, or county roads, 55 is pretty typical across the nation. Where does all this come from? It actually comes from 1973. So I'm going to take you to a document. This is from the government. This is one of the government documents about the history of the 55 mile per hour transportation law. So the national 55 mile per hour speed limit law was established to improve highway safety and fuel conservation. It has been somewhat successful. Average speeds have dropped about 5 miles an hour, but many drivers are still speeding. Now, I'm going to scroll down to take you to the part where it gives the information that you're likely wondering yourself right now. When did this all come about? The national 55 mile per hour speed limit law was enacted as a conservation measure after the 1973 Arab oil embargo. So the original impetus to this law was to prevent an energy crisis, or to help assist the energy crisis. And as a result, the initial findings of these reports was that at the beginning stages of this national highway 55 mile per hour law was that it did reduce average driving speeds by 5 miles per hour, and that it was very successful, that it was safer, that it was more fuel efficient. But as time went on, speeds increased. And so it was not actually a long-term, once the embargo scare was over, people kind of returned to their natural comfort level of driving. And so that brings me to my last point. So it might seem pretty straightforward. Drive 55 miles per hour because you save money and it's safer. However, I want to bring you to this discussion on Car Talk. Okay, the Car Talk community asks, is 55 miles per hour still the optimal driving speed? And this guy brings up, when I first got my driver's license a long time ago, everybody said 55 miles per hour. Times have changed, technologies have improved, speed limits have changed, cars' designs probably have kept to keep up with new laws changing. So this person's asking, should I still drive 55 miles per hour? And the big point that most of the responses point out is that really the safest speed is the speed at which everyone else is driving. If you're trying to be a gas, this guy points out, if you're trying to be a gas miser on the freeway, even semi trucks will pass you, and you run the risk of causing more accidents than anything else. And that seems to be the common response throughout many of these responders. Driving considerably slower than the speed of traffic around you is actually not that safe and could put you at more risk than driving the speed of traffic. And people tend to gravitate towards the speed that they feel safe and comfortable at. And in fact, a lot of roads end up changing their speed limit according to that comfort level that people are already naturally going. And it's safer to keep it at a natural flow. So I hope this was interesting to you. Please go to FreeAdvice.com. If you are out on the road at all, you need to know what insurance coverage you have. You need to know what your plan covers. You need to know if your plan adequately covers and what your expectations are. Don't assume that just because you're paying a monthly premium for insurance that it's giving you what you need, that you're even getting your money's worth. So head to FreeAdvice.com. Compare rates today. Save money. Please save money. And like and share this video. Comment below if you've had an experience driving slower than everybody around you. If you have noticed your fuel efficiency go up driving 55 miles per hour. We would love to hear what you guys are all experiencing on the roads and whether or not you drive 55 miles per hour typically.